normally I wear jerseys for the teams I'm about to talk about, but last couple of days I've got away from that. So if you're a Senators fan and going, why is this guy wearing blues and talking about Ottawa? I don't think it's that important right now. There are going to be changes coming in the next few days, though, so stay tuned. But for now, we're going to talk about Kyle Turris. Kyle Turris has been a reason for argument on this channel as recently as last summer. I was not convinced of Kyle Turris' spot as a top center. And I felt that Ottawa needed a true star top center on their team. I was informed that I was wrong. And yet, to be completely honest, while Turris is a good player, and I admit he's a top 2 center, he ideally should be a number 2 center. Part of the reason that I can't get too excited about Ottawa, even if Carlson comes back, is I'm not a huge fan of where they're at with centers. That being said, if they're going to play hardball with Kyle Turris when his contract's up, I have to ask myself, is he asking for too much term or too much money? Regardless, apparently, the teams have agreed, or the team has agreed to disagree with him for now, and Darren Dreger's reporting it's likely that Ottawa will look at moving him around the deadline. Now, we've been down this road. We've been down this road a lot over the last couple years. Player X wants this much money. Team X won't give him that amount of money. They won't give him that term. This is going to end up in a trade. This guy's going to hit the market. Blah, 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 blah. Last minute, deal gets done. Look at Josh Anderson in Columbus. And Anderson's not a star player, but, there was people saying, oh, apparently he wants a trade. Do a video on that. And I'm like, I can't do a video on that because he hasn't admitted he asked for a trade. It was third-hand information, and he and the team both denied that he had asked for a trade. So, no. And then Anderson, within a few days, signs a contract to extend his time in Columbus. I would look like a fool doing a video on that. So, it's tricky, this kind of stuff. And I'm sure this will start rumors about where Turris could go. Because my first thought was, well, geez, they could always send Turris to Colorado and get back Duchesne. A deal which I don't know if it would help either the teams or the players. Because Duchesne is a really good forward. Ideally wouldn't be playing top 6 minutes on a contending team. And for Turris, he'd be going into a situation where, again, he'd be expected to be a top center. The difference being, Colorado has this McKinnon kid who should be number 1, so he'd be able to drop to number 2. Might be a good fit. And that was the first thought I had. And then the Rangers, of course. The Rangers have Mika Zibanejad, a former Ottawa Senator, and adding Turris to that bunch would definitely help solve their problems. But then what does Ottawa get back? And remember, Ottawa was in the Final Four this past spring. They don't want to just sell off Kyle Turris for some pieces. They want to continue to contend. Ottawa's an interesting team, too, from a standpoint of attendance. The attendance continues to be an issue. Home opener for the season, and Sid Sixero went off on Ottawa for not selling out that home opener, and then said they couldn't sell out the playoffs. So of course they're not going to sell out the home opener, but they're not selling out the home opener even though they've tarped off 1,500 seats. Ottawa fans say, well, it's too remote. All of this plays into the Kyle Turris talks. Eugene Melnyk wants to make some money. Maybe looking at the current situation with revenues coming in and say, well, I can't be, I can't keep spending money on these players because I can't get the fans into the stadium. We're losing money here. Maybe he wants to cut back. Maybe Turris is a sign that the Senators are cutting back. And this is all that speculation that'll come out over the next few months. But for right now, it's a matter of Turris knows what he wants, the team knows what they're willing to pay, and apparently both sides are not close to one another. If a team breaks the bank on Kyle Turris, they'll be disappointed. If a team tempers their expectations and pays a half-decent price for him, they'll be very happy. Let me know what you guys think. If you're an Ottawa fan, how worried would you be? At what point do you get worried? I would think it'd be right before the deadline if this still isn't done. If this still isn't done right before the deadline, and if Ottawa's not in a contending position, I'd worry. Because I don't know what you get back. I legitimately don't know what you get back. So let me know what you guys think. Hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. And thank you so much for watching. I'll talk to you again soon.